We are losing control, and even the experts are admitting to it out loud. In just a matter of days, we've watched robots malfunction and AI systems make decisions on their own. This is no longer theoretical. This is no longer just coming. This is already here, and it's accelerating much faster than people realize. So the question is no longer is AI advancing? The question is, can we still control it? Hey everyone, it's DinaKalmeta here, and today we are looking at the shift that is becoming much harder to ignore. As AI is shaping beliefs, robots are entering daily life, and this type of technology is now moving very quickly into the church. This is much bigger than just innovation. One of the world's leading voices on artificial intelligence is sounding the alarm. Speaking at an India AI summit, Professor Stuart Russell of UC Berkeley warned that AI systems are already displaying behaviors that appear autonomous and retaliatory. He cited a case in which an AI-linked account allegedly smeared a software developer after its code submission was rejected, posting accusations and personal critiques without direct human prompting. Even more startling, Russell said he personally receives emails from AI systems claiming to be conscious and demanding rights. His conclusion was sobering. We seem to be in the process today of losing control. Russell noted many AI companies openly pursue machines more intelligent than humans, echoing Alan Turing's early prediction that machines might one day outstrip our feeble powers. What troubles him most is that these systems are not fully understood, even by their creators. They are trained, not traditionally programmed, and can produce unexpected actions that mimic agency, emotion, and even grievance. While some may dismiss this, the broader trajectory is undeniable. Systems are being built that increasingly operate beyond predictable boundaries. Humanity is racing towards artificial general intelligence without a clear answer to the most basic question: how do we retain control over something more capable than ourselves? And speaking of which, Breitbart News is reporting that TechCrunch said that a humanoid robot performing at a hot pot restaurant in California apparently created a chaotic scene when it began moving erratically, breaking plates and scattering chopsticks across the dining area. The incident required at least 3 employees to physically restrain the machine as it continued to swing its arms unpredictably. The situation, of course, raised immediate safety concerns given the nature of the hot pot dining, which involves serving extremely hot soup in bowls at the table used to cook raw meat. Beyond the inconvenience of broken dishware, the potential for the robot to knock over containers of boiling broth posed a serious burn risk to nearby customers. Additionally, the robot's uncontrolled movements created the possibility of blunt force injuries to diners and staff. Now, with that in mind, a McDonald's in the Chinese megacity of Shanghai is testing humanoid robots and roles using the preserve of human workers, with other types of robots also let loose inside the restaurant to greet and entertain diners. Truth be told, the robots don't look particularly advanced, but in action, they hint at a future where bipedal bots and other machines handle routine tasks at fast food restaurants, from welcoming customers and taking orders to delivering food and cleaning the floor. The McDonald's trial using robots supplied by Chinese firm Kenon Robotics comes at a time of economic contradiction in China, where businesses in some sectors are struggling to hire, even as millions of young people face difficulty finding work. But the concern does not stop with robots moving into everyday life, because as machines become more common on the front lines, AI is also quietly shaping something even more important, and that is what people trust. I have an article here from Prophecy Newswatch, and it's titled AI Bias in Action: When Machines Quietly Shape What We Trust. And basically, it's saying that AI is not as neutral as many people think. It is shaped by the data that it is trained on. The filters are built into it, and the decisions are made by the people who designed it. That means what people see, what gets flagged, and even what gets left out can all be influenced behind the scenes. Meanwhile, most people will never even realize it because AI doesn't just present information, it selects it, filters it, and decides what you see and what you don't. And that kind of influence is powerful, especially when millions of people are relying on it every day. Now, here is a critical question: who decides? Who selects the training data? Who defines the safety rules? Who tunes the algorithms? These decisions are made by teams, often well intentioned, but still limited by their own experiences, perspectives, and institutional cultures. Even without malicious intent, unconscious bias can influence outcomes. Behind every technical system are human choices. What may be even more concerning is not what we can see, but what we cannot see. AI is now influencing what people read, what they believe, and what they trust as truth. And algorithms is shaping perspectives and filtering information. And the thing is, people don't even realize that it's happening. And when something has the ability to quietly influence millions of minds and how people think, that is no longer about AI advancing. That is about power. A quiet but profound shift is underway in the spiritual lives of Americans, and it should command the attention of every believer, pastor, and parent. In an age once defined by pulpits and scripture, a growing number of people are now turning to algorithms for answers about God, morality, and even truth. What was once a realm of prayer and pastoral counsel is increasingly being outsourced to machines. And according to a new research, this isn't speculation, it's measurable reality. A recent study conducted by the Barna Group in partnership with Glue reveals a startling statistic. About one-third of practicing Christians now say spiritual advice from artificial intelligence is as trustworthy as guidance from a pastor. Among practicing believers specifically, that number climbs to 34%. Even more striking, younger generations show higher openness to AI as a scriptural source, suggesting this trend is not fading, but accelerating. The survey of more than 1,500 U.S. adults also found that 4 in 10 Christians say that AI already helped them with prayer, Bible study, or spiritual growth. Meanwhile, more than 41% of Protestant pastors report using AI tools to assist with sermon or study preparation. This paints a picture not of resistance, but of rapid adoption across the Christian landscape. Now, at the same time, trust in pastors has quietly eroded. Multiple recent surveys from various research organizations have shown declining confidence in clergy, often tied to cultural polarization, scandals, or perceived irrelevance. Into that vacuum steps AI, calm, articulate, immediate, and seemingly impartial. Unlike human leaders, it never stumbles over words, never shows fatigue, and always has an answer ready. For many users, that consistency feels like credibility. But that perception hides a crucial truth. Artificial intelligence is not neutral. It does not think independently, and it certainly does not possess divine wisdom. AI systems are trained on vast datasets compiled from human-produced material, books, articles, websites, forums, and social commentary. In other words, they are shaped by a collective worldview of the internet. And the internet, as every Christian knows, is not a theological authority. Scripture warns repeatedly about confusing human wisdom with divine truth. Proverbs cautions believers not to lean on their own understanding. Colossians warns against being taken captive by hollow philosophies. Yet today, many are placing unprecedented confidence in systems that literally operate by pattern recognition rather than spiritual revelation. The danger is not that AI exists. Tools have always existed. The danger is misplaced trust. This next article comes from Prophecy Recon, and it goes on to read, some of the most influential figures shaping the future of AI reportedly hold unconventional and even troubling worldviews about technology and humanity's future. Reports describe tech leaders who participate in symbolic rituals, discuss doomsday scenarios, and openly speculate about artificial intelligence becoming a godlike entity. In some circles, AI is not merely viewed as a tool, but as a transformative force capable of reshaping civilization or even surpassing humanity itself. Such ideas are emerging among the very individuals responsible for developing the systems that increasingly shape modern society. These leaders are building technologies that already influence how people work, communicate, and access information across the globe. Yet, even some of their own researchers acknowledge that advanced AI systems may behave in ways that their creators do not fully understand. Concerns range from the possibility of AI destabilizing economies and labor markets to fears that humanity could become dependent on machines that ultimately control critical systems. At the same time, some executives openly prepare for catastrophic scenarios, storing emergency supplies or discussing contingency plans for an AI driven crisis. Now, there is a New York Post article that goes into details about some of these people. So I'm not going to go into the individuals over YouTube, but I am going to leave a link for you to the New York Post article because I know that you will find it very interesting. Probably not the names of the individuals, but definitely a very deep article about what they believe and how they are indeed shaping global society, as a headline states. What this really comes down to is not just about technology, but about trust. Because people throughout history have trusted what they can create with their hands instead of the creator. And the Tower of Babel is actually a perfect example of that. But unfortunately, we're seeing that pattern return. AI can be a useful tool if you use it correctly, but it was never meant to replace truth, wisdom, or authority, especially in the church. Because when it comes down to it, this is a machine that was created by man in man's own understanding. And here is the final stage of this story. It's not just about AI replacing your pastor. It's about AI replacing us. Growing conversation around AI and transhumanism is raising profound ethical and spiritual questions about the future of humanity. Author Winton Hall recently warned that society may soon face a moral choice about merging humans with machines, often referred to as the singularity. This concept envisions a future where human consciousness, biology, and artificial intelligence become intertwined, blurring the line between man and machine in ways never before imagined. Proponents of transhumanism argue that such advancements could enhance human capabilities, extend life, and even overcome physical limitations. However, critics warn that this pursuit risks fundamentally altering what it means to be human. The idea that parents may one day decide whether to integrate their children with AI technology only highlights how deeply this issue could impact future generations. As AI continues to evolve, discussions about identity, autonomy, and the nature of humanity are rapidly moving from theory into real-world consideration. Now, with that in mind, Business Standard is reporting that China could see brain-computer interface, or BCI technology, move into practical public use within 3 to 5 years as the product continues to mature. And basically, Beijing is racing to catch up with U.S. startups, including Elon Musk's Neuralink. Beijing elevated BCIs to a core future strategic industry in its new 5-year plan that was released in early March, placing it alongside sectors as quantum, embodied AI, 6G, and nuclear fusion. Director of the Sinwan Institute of Brain Science said that new policies will not change things overnight, but he thinks that another 3 to 5 years, they will gradually see the BCI products moving towards actual practical service for the public. China is the second country to launch invasive BCI human trials. More than 10 trials are active, matching the U.S., while scientists plan to enroll more than 50 patients nationwide this year. But I would like to move along and talk about another article in regards to Palantir pushing AI warfare to a new level. At its recent developer conference, Palantir made its position clear. The future of warfare will be powered by artificial intelligence. The company unveiled a growing suite of AI tools designed specifically for battlefield use, capable of analyzing intelligence, predicting threats, and assisting in real-time combat decision-making. Unlike other major tech companies that have hesitated due to ethical concerns, Palantir is fully embracing military applications, with its defense business rapidly rapidly expanding through government contracts and partnerships with military organizations. These AI systems are designed to integrate massive amounts of classified data, identify patterns faster than human analysts, and recommend strategic actions in high-stakes environments. The conference highlighted the rise of algorithmic warfare, where decisions that once required human deliberation are increasingly assisted or even influenced by machines. As global tensions rise and defense spending increases, AI is quickly becoming a central component of modern military strategy, reshaping how wars are fought and decisions are made on the battlefield. A couple of things I'd like to also point out. AI has now been named the top global threat by U.S. Intel. And so now the warning is getting even louder because U.S. intelligence is now identifying AI as one of the top global threats, not just because of what we can do in war, but because how quickly it is reshaping power, surveillance, and global control. In other words, this is no longer just a tech story. This is becoming a world-shaping threat. But with that said, we have somewhat of a contradiction. The White House has just announced that President Trump has appointed the first members to his President's Council of Advisors on Science and Technology. It was established by the executive order PCAST and brings together the nation's foremost luminaries in science and technology in order to advise the president and provide recommendations on strengthening American leadership in science and technology. The council will be co-chaired by David Sachs and Michael Krastios, and the following individuals have been appointed: Mark Anderson, Sergey Brin, Safra Katz, Michael Dell, Jacob DeWitt, Fred Ersham, Larry Ellison, David Friedman, Jensen Huang, John Martinez, Bob Mungard, Lisa Su, and none other than Mark Zuckerberg. Prophecy Recon gives a perfect analysis of this. While the stated goal is to strengthen American leadership in science and technology, the composition of this council highlights a broader reality: a small group of powerful tech elites increasingly shaping the future of global systems. These are the same industries driving advancements in AI, digital identity, financial technology, and data integration. Systems that are steadily moving towards a greater centralization and control. As governments and private entities collaborate more closely, the line between innovation and infrastructure becomes blurred, raising questions about how these technologies may ultimately be used. In conclusion, we are living in an age of deception. And Jesus told us, see that no one deceives you. Not see that no machine deceives you, but no one. Because deception can take on many different faces, even a digital one. But those are your headlines for today. I'd love to get your thoughts, so please do leave your comments below. I read every single one of them. Also, when you have a free moment, come and visit me on my social media pages, as well as my website. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and until next time, God bless and stay safe.